You ever look back and realize the life you thought was solid was already falling apart piece by piece and you just didn't see it? Yeah, that was me. My name's Jake. I'm 39. I work in supply chain, logistics, boring stuff, unless something goes wrong. Been doing it over a decade. Pays the bills, puts food on the table. I was married 15 years. Her name's Jessica. 3 kids. 1 house in the suburbs. 2 cars, one always breaking down. And a dog named Murphy that sheds like it's his full-time job. We were the picture. Not a perfect one. Not the social media fairy tale, but real. Busy mornings, rushed breakfasts, school runs, soccer practice, laundry, bills, homework, bedtime stories. I worked. A lot. Early mornings, late nights, weekend emails. I told myself I was building something stable, something good. Jessica stayed home with the kids. That was the plan one we made together. She said she wanted to be there for the milestones, the scraped knees, the first words and first days. I respected that, admired it even. I figured we were a team. I brought in the income. She held down the fort. And somewhere in between, we managed to love each other. At least I thought we did. I won't lie, it wasn't always easy. We argued. About money. About time. Sometimes she said I wasn't present. And I'd fire back that I was exhausted. But that's marriage, right? Give and take. Good days, bad days. Keep pushing forward. And the kids, man. The kids were everything. Ethan, the oldest, smart, serious, always asking why. Liam, in the middle, wild energy, the kind that makes you worry and laugh at the same time. And Maddie, the little one, my girl, my shadow. She'd follow me from room to room like a duckling. I'd get home from work and they'd tackle me at the door. They didn't care how tired I was. To them, I was Superman. Their dad. Their guy. And Jessica? She'd smile from the kitchen apron on, hair tied back, dinner in the oven. Classic scene. Too classic? Maybe. Looking back, it almost feels staged. But at the time, it felt like life. Like we were doing it. Getting through the grind. Growing something real. I didn't see the cracks. Didn't notice how often Jessica's eyes drifted past me during conversations. Didn't hear the edge in her voice when she said, "You're never really here, you know that?" I'd brush it off. Tell her I was doing this for us. For the kids. For the mortgage. For our future. And she'd nod. But something about her nod started to feel empty. I thought we were just tired. You know, kids, bills, life, it wears you down. I figured we'd reconnect, take a vacation, sleep in on a weekend, find our way back. But the truth, I didn't realize how far we drifted, how much of her I'd already lost. Because when you're busy trying to be the provider, sometimes you stop being the partner. And that's where I was, standing in a house full of people I loved and already losing them without knowing it. It started small, too small to call it suspicion. More like a flicker in the back of your mind, a whisper you try to ignore. Ethan had this look-sharp jawline, almond-shaped eyes. Jessica's, sure, but something else, too, something I couldn't place. People would say, "He looks just like your wife." And I'd smile, nod, say, "Yeah, lucky kid." But then it became a pattern. Friends, coworkers, even my own mom, they'd say the same thing. "Funny, none of them really look like you, huh?" Always with a laugh, like it was nothing. And I'd laugh too. Because what else do? You tell yourself. Kids take after their mom. Genetics are weird. Not everything has to mean something. But then came the blood types. Ethan needed stitches after falling off his bike. Standard procedure, quick test. Nurse said, "He's B positive." And I remember thinking, "Wait, Jessica's O. I'm A." I didn't say anything out loud, just filed it away. Next time I donated blood, I asked the tech to remind me of my type. Still A. No surprise. Couple weeks later, Liam cut his hand helping me in the garage. Same drill blood test. Same result. B positive. Now that sat with me. I went down a rabbit hole one night, Googling inheritance charts like a maniac, typing in blood types like some DIY detective. Turns out O and A can't make B. Not naturally. Not biologically. I sat there in the dark, screen glowing in my face, and felt something twist in my gut. I told myself to stop. You're overthinking. It's a mistake. Hospitals mess up records all the time. right? But then there were other things. Maddie's curls wild and dark, not a trace of my straight hair or Jess's light brown. The way Liam scrunched his nose when he laughed, not mine, not hers. Tiny things, fleeting, but they stuck. And it wasn't just how they looked. It was behavior, energy. Ethan was quiet, painfully quiet. He'd sit in his room for hours, sketching, brooding, barely speaking. And I'd wonder, is that just being a teenager, or is he pulling away from me? Liam bold, fiery temper, quick to snap. Nothing like me. Nothing like the calm kid I remembered holding in the hospital room. I used to joke, he's got a temper like someone else's dad. I thought I was being funny. Now, not so much. Jessica always brushed it off. Kids go through phases. Don't overanalyze everything. But I started noticing how quick she changed the subject, how defensive she got, even when I wasn't accusing her of anything. I remember one night at dinner, Ethan made some offhand comment, something like, "Mom, remember when we saw that guy with the guitar in the park?" And Jess froze, just for a second, then laughed. "Oh yeah, that was ages ago." But something about her voice was tight, like she was covering something. I felt crazy, like I was building conspiracy theories out of thin air. But that's the thing about doubt. It doesn't show up with sirens. It creeps in slow, silent, steady, and once it's there, it doesn't leave. Not until you find the truth, or it finds you. I didn't plan on doing it. I wasn't one of those guys. I wasn't snooping, wasn't tracking phones or checking inboxes. But the blood type thing, it didn't leave me alone. It just sat there, gnawed at me. So I ordered a kit. Swab, envelope, mailbox. Easy, clinical, almost boring. It was for Ethan, just Ethan. I told myself I was being paranoid, that the test would come back fine and I'd laugh at myself for ever doubting. But it didn't. I remember the email notification popping up on my phone. I was in the driveway, just got home from work. I sat in the car, engine still running, thumb hovering over the screen. Then I opened it. Probability of paternity, 0%. 0. Not 1, not 0.5. 0. I read it again and again. My brain didn't move. I just sat there, staring at those numbers. No rage, no shouting, just static. I went inside, hugged Ethan like nothing had changed. But something had. That night, I ordered 2 more kits. One for Liam, one for Maddie. At that point, I knew. But I needed the confirmation. Needed it in black and white. A week later, results. Liam, 0%. Maddie, 0%. 3 kids. 3 zeros. You ever feel the ground fall out under you? Like reality just shifts sideways, and suddenly you're not standing in your life anymore. You're watching it burn from the outside? That's what it felt like. 15 years of birthdays, lullabies, night feedings, school pickups, Christmas mornings, all flashing through my head like a movie I wasn't in. Not really. They weren't mine. Not biologically. Not legally. Not anything. And I didn't even know how to feel. I wasn't angry. I wasn't crying. I just sat there. Hands on the table. Phone in front of me. 3 reports. 3 betrayals. 3 lives I thought were part of me and weren't. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't even lie down. I just walked the house. Room to room. Toys scattered on the floor. Backpacks by the door. Photos on the wall. Birthdays. Beach trips. Baby teeth smiles. I looked at them all, and I didn't know what was real anymore. I didn't scream. Didn't throw things. Didn't ask, "How could you?" No point. I already knew. I waited till the kids were at school. Made coffee. Sat at the table. Laid the test results in a neat little row. When Jessica walked in, she froze. She saw the papers. Saw my face. And she knew. I didn't say a word at first. Just looked at her. Waited. She tried the casual act that fake calm. "What's all this?" Still nothing from me. Then she stepped closer. Saw the headers. Paternity report. Silence. I finally said, "Want to explain?" She blinked. Licked her lips. "You being paranoid." I didn't flinch. 3 kids. All of them. 0%. You want to talk about paranoia? Then the real show started. First came denial. "It's a mistake. Those tests aren't accurate." Then came defense. "You're seriously doing this to me? after everything I've done for this family? And finally, the breakdown, the tears, the shaking voice. I never meant to hurt you. I sat there, cold, not cruel, just empty. 15 years, and suddenly, it all sounded like noise. I asked her one question. Was it the same man? She hesitated, then nodded. Yes. I asked, is he still around? She shook her head. I didn't ask his name. Didn't want it. What difference would it make? This wasn't about him. It was about her. About the fact that she looked me in the eye every day for 15 years and lied. She said it started before Ethan was born, that she was confused, that she thought it would stop, that she told herself I'd be a better father anyway. Better. Not real. I remember sitting there, thinking, so that's what I was to her? A safe bet? A backup plan? A stand-in? She tried to touch my hand. I pulled away. She said she loved me. I didn't answer. Because love without truth isn't love. It's strategy. And I finally understood I hadn't just lost my kids. I'd been living with a stranger. I didn't pack a bag. Didn't leave a note. Didn't even grab a jacket. I just walked out the front door and kept walking. It was past midnight. Cold air. Empty streets. The kind of silence that doesn't comfort, it swallows. No plan. No destination. Just me. A set of car keys, and a mind spinning so fast it felt like standing still. I drove. Not far. Just away. Highway lights blurred past the windshield like memories I didn't ask for. I pulled into some random overlook outside town. Engine off. World quiet. And that's when it hit me. Not the anger. Not the betrayal. But the absence. I thought about Ethan's laugh when he watched those dumb space documentaries. About Liam begging me to play soccer after work, even when I could barely stand. About Maddie falling asleep on my chest during movie night. Her tiny hand gripping my shirt like she never wanted to let go. And I just sat there, gripping the steering wheel like it could hold me together. Because the pain wasn't just that they weren't mine. It was that they were mine in every way that mattered. And now I didn't know if I even had the right to call them. Who was I? Now. Not their dad. Not her husband. Not anything. Just a man in a car, trying to breathe. I thought about turning back, walking in, pretending none of this happened, pretending I never opened those envelopes. But the thing about truth is, once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. And I kept asking myself the same question, over and over again, like a broken record in my chest. What the hell do I do now? I didn't have an answer. Still don't. All I knew in that moment was that something in me had cracked, not snapped. Not shattered, just quietly split down the center. And there was no going back. I gave it a week. Didn't talk to her. Didn't sleep much either. I stayed at a cheap motel off the highway, one of those places with buzzing lights and thin walls. Woke up every morning to the sound of people dragging suitcases over concrete. Felt fitting, somehow. The only thing I did every day was sit in the car and stare at those papers. 3 DNA tests. 3 zeros. 15 years of lies, compressed into 3 pages of data. One morning, I picked up my phone and called an old friend, a guy I knew from college now, a family law attorney. I didn't say much. Just, I need help. He said, come in, bring everything. So I did. Sat across from his desk, handed him the folders, and waited while he read. No expression, no shock. When he finished, he leaned back and said, Jake, what you've got here isn't just personal betrayal, it's legal fraud. I stared at him. Fraud? He nodded. It's called paternity fraud. When a woman knowingly misleads a man into thinking he's the biological father of a child or children and uses that false belief to gain financial support, legal status, or emotional security. He looked right at me. And it's not just morally wrong. In this state, it's actionable. I didn't know what to say. He slid a paper toward me. Here's what we can do. It wasn't about revenge. I wasn't interested in humiliating her or dragging our names through the mud. I just couldn't keep pretending. Couldn't keep financing a lie. Couldn't keep playing the part of the father when I was never even cast for the role. So we started building the case. Timeline. Test results. Witnesses, friends, family, even a neighbor who once made a strange comment about the guy who used to come by when you weren't home. My lawyer was thorough. He had that calm, surgical approach that makes you trust him even when he's telling you your whole life's about to be ripped apart in court. We filed for divorce. filed a civil claim for paternity fraud, filed to terminate legal responsibility for the kids. And I felt sick. Not because I doubted it, but because every step felt like burning a bridge I never wanted to cross. But what was the alternative? Keep living like I had? Keep lying to myself? Keep letting her get away with it while I paid the price? No. This wasn't about anger anymore. This was about truth, about drawing a line, about saying, you don't get to rewrite biology just because it's convenient. And for the first time in weeks, I felt like I had something to stand on. Not revenge, not rage, just solid ground, even if it was made of broken pieces. Court isn't what you see in movies. There's no gasps, no dramatic music, just a tired judge, too many folders, and people trying not to fall apart in public. Our case was scheduled for 9:30 a.m. Family court, third floor, gray walls, cheap chairs. I got there early, sat outside the courtroom with a cup of gas station coffee and a manila envelope full of truth. Jessica showed up 10 minutes before the session. No eye contact. She wore makeup, too much of it, and a coat I'd never seen before. She looked like someone playing a role she didn't believe in. When they called our names, my stomach dropped. Not from fear, from finality. This was it. The judge was a woman in her 60s, no nonsense, no small talk. She glanced over the paperwork like it was a grocery list. Mr. Daniels, she said, you're requesting annulment of legal paternity for all 3 children and a cessation of all financial obligations moving forward? Yes, Your Honor. And you're also pursuing a civil claim for paternity fraud against the respondent? Yes, Your Honor. She turned to Jessica. Do you dispute the results of the DNA test provided? Jessica's voice cracked. No, Your Honor. Tears. Makeup smearing. But the judge didn't flinch. She just nodded, scribbled something down, and kept going. The rest was a blur of legal language. Statutory criteria. Intentional misrepresentation. Retroactive relief. My lawyer spoke clearly, calmly, like he was reading a recipe. Jessica's attorney barely said a word. When it was done, the judge closed the folder. And just like that, 15 years of fatherhood were undone with a signature. She looked at me. Mr. Daniels, you are no longer the legal parent of these children. You are released from all current and future financial obligations, including child support. Then she looked at Jessica. Your actions meet the threshold for paternity fraud under state law. A civil claim may proceed, and damages may be awarded at the court's discretion. And that was it. The gavel didn't slam. No one stood. No music played. Just silence. And the soft shuffle of papers being filed away forever. I walked out of that courtroom feeling nothing. Not joy. Not closure. Just a cold, hollow quiet. The kind that comes when something ends, not with fire, but with paperwork. People think the truth sets you free. And maybe it does. But sometimes, freedom feels a lot like loss. The house was quiet when I got back. Not peaceful. Not calm. Just quiet. Like something had died there. Jessica had moved out while the court case was still ongoing. Took the kids with her. Left the furniture. Left the toys. Left the memories. The place felt like a museum of a life I didn't belong to anymore. I walked from room to room like I was trespassing. The kids' drawings were still on the fridge. Crayons in a box on the living room floor. Maddie's stuffed animals lined up in her usual perfect row, none of them knowing their world had collapsed. I picked one up, held it, put it back. Didn't cry, didn't speak. Just stood there, in that strange kind of silence that's so loud it hurts your ears. They weren't legally mine anymore, but they didn't know that. Not really, not yet. And that's where the pain got sharp, because they still texted me, still asked when I'd come visit, still called me Dad. And I didn't know what to do with that. Jessica, of course, had her version of the story. Told them I was angry. Said I didn't want to be part of the family anymore. That I walked away. She didn't tell them I was erased. Legally, emotionally, biologically. She didn't tell them that she built a lie so big, it collapsed under its own weight. That I was the one buried under the rubble. So now what? Do I show up at Liam's soccer game and risk getting escorted out? Do I call Maddie every night and pretend everything's okay? Do I keep sending birthday gifts from your friend Jake? How do you father children who aren't yours? When the woman who lied to you still holds the keys to their world? Some nights I'd sit on the edge of my bed, phone in hand, wondering if I should text them. Sometimes I did. Short messages. Hope school's going well. proud of you, miss you. Sometimes they replied, sometimes they didn't. And when they didn't, it felt like losing them all over again. People say you can still be in their lives if you want to. Like it's that simple. Like love's enough to override the law, the lies, the poison she poured into their ears. But love, real love, requires a foundation, and ours was ripped out from under us. All I had left was the echo. I used to know who I was. I was a husband, a dad, a provider, a guy with a plan, even if life didn't always follow it. I had a routine. I had responsibilities. I had people who needed me. Now I wake up and stare at the ceiling, asking questions I never thought I'd have to ask. What do you do when your purpose turns out to be a lie? When the people you gave everything to weren't really yours to begin with? I'm not talking about ownership. I'm talking about belonging, identity. Because when I looked in the mirror before, I saw a father. Now I just see a man with tired eyes and too many empty frames on the wall. I go to work. I answer emails. I make dinner for one. It's not the silence that's hard. It's the absence, the echo of what used to be there. Sometimes I wonder if I missed signs, if I was too focused on providing and not enough on being present, if maybe I let it happen. But then I remember I was lied to, deliberately, repeatedly, for years. So no, I didn't deserve this. But knowing that doesn't fix the hole. I tried therapy. Didn't last long. Too many soft chairs, and how does that make you feel? I don't want to feel. I want to rebuild. I started writing things down. Little thoughts. Fragments. Trying to make sense of what's left. And one thing keeps coming back. If you're not a husband and you're not a father, what are you? I don't have an answer yet. I'm not trying to be profound. I'm just being honest. Some days I think maybe I'll move. New city. New job. Start from zero. Other days I drive past their school and wonder if they're still playing the same games at recess. If Maddie still holds her pencil the wrong way. If Ethan still pretends not to like hugs but secretly loves them. Truth is, I miss them. Even if they weren't mine. Even if they never really were. And I miss the version of me that existed when they were. I'm not broken, but I'm not the same. And maybe that's the scariest part. Not the loss, but the space it leaves behind. The dust has settled now. The court dates are over. The paperwork's been signed. Her name's off my insurance. My name's off their birth certificates. Funny how something that took 15 years to build can be dissolved in 15 pages. She lives across town now. I hear things. From friends. From people who don't know how to mind their business. She's dating again. He's younger. Drives a truck. Probably tells her she deserves better. Maybe she does. The kids? I get the occasional message. A text here, a picture there. Polite. Guarded. Like they're not sure what I am to them anymore. And I can't blame them. I didn't leave them. But I'm not in their lives either. That part hurts the most. Not the betrayal. Not the humiliation. The space. The silence. The fact that they still call someone else dad now. And maybe it feels normal to them. I thought winning in court would feel like something. Like justice. Like freedom. But it doesn't. It just feels quiet. I live alone now. Same job. Same town. Different eyes. I see everything clearer. Colder, maybe. But clearer. I don't trust like I used to. Don't hope like I used to. But I'm still standing. And that means something. Because when you lose your role, husband, father, provider, you either collapse or rebuild. I'm choosing rebuild. Slow, clumsy, honest. I know now that love without truth is just a story, a comfortable lie, and I'm done with lies. So what's left? Me. This life. This truth. It's not what I wanted, but it's mine. And for now, that's enough.